No, you look fine. You look like a Renaissance person.
I just thought I looked like a Renaissance painter or something.
I'll be Buffy in this episode, and you can be Kendra.
oh, yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Oh no, I can't wait. I probably need to drain my lymphatic system. You know, where you like do all this rubbing, and you see if you put like a rubber band around your ears. Apparently, it drains the lymphatic system and gives you like a snatched jaw. I did it last week before we came on, actually, and I think that's probably why I look so skinny.
I don't know. There's not enough elastic bands in this world.
We haven't been irreverent enough to just start doing the credits. And there we go. That's where I'll put the credits. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Up the Buff. This is episode 21 of Up the Buff, and we are on Buffy Season 2, Episode 9, What's My Line, Part 1. And this is the first episode that features Marti Noxon as a writer, which, David, you will come to see. She is incredible. She also just has a great Instagram bio. It says, I ruined Buffy and I will ruin you too.
So what's the story with her? I don't understand the reference.
Oh, she's just incredible. Like, she becomes one of the main writers, and then I think in season 5, 6, 7 becomes like executive producer.
Right.
I think she starts to ground the real. We need a woman writer, you know.
Yes. Okay.
And,
yes, we do.
And I think you really, the less racist and misogynistic that the characters appear, I think it is because of Marti Noxon's writing. And what's funny is that in this episode as well, I really enjoyed Xander.
What the fuck is happening?
It was the first thing I was going to say was like, I had a pure hallelujah moment in this episode of Xander. And I was like, yes, this is who you should be. And it was also great that you have, I'm just jumping ahead, loads of stuff, just this overview generally, but like loved two female leads, but not like there was a bit about Angel, but it was very much understanding their character more than it just being about let's get my boyfriend, even though there was a bit of let's save my boyfriend. But like I loved the Kendra, Buffy.
Yeah.
My memory of, because I remember you showing me this person Kendra before, because you were like, would you hear this woman with the Belfast accent trying to do a Caribbean accent? And I was like, okay, I can't wait to hear this.
I know,
because Kira was in the kitchen when I was watching this, and she's like, who the fuck is that with that accent? She genuinely thought it was someone from Belfast or someone from Ireland.
I love seeing that Irish representation on TV in the 90s.
Me too.
I had good reason to think you
were. No, we will get into the Kendra, and I am assuming it is not racist to mock someone's bad accent, regardless of where they're from and who they're doing. I don't know I don't give a fuck. I think anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm sure you can edit this or change.
Well, yeah, well, I'll just say it because we're at this point now. But Marti Noxon actually said that the accent was like a last minute thing. She originally didn't have an accent, but apparently they did bring in a dialect coach who worked with her on a Jamaican accent that was supposedly from a very obscure island or whatever called Ireland.
It's very west.
But yeah, for anyone watching, we're making fun of it because of the Irish part of things, not because of any other side of things. And Reddit is a buzz with actual Caribbean people and Jamaican people saying that the accent isn't overall very accurate. But I look back on it now with such a fondness that I'm just like, I love it.
I didn't dislike it. I'm not going to lie. I heard it a couple of times, and I think the only reason why it perks up my ears so much is and I love that we're starting with the accent, because if we just talk about it now, we can just forget about it later on because it's 2
hours later.
But her accent annoys me so much that it removes me from the show.
Well, no, every time we get to a line that bears repeating, I've written it down so I can repeat it.
Oh, absolutely good, because you have it down to a degree, because it's just your normal Belfast accent.
Yeah.
With a bit more.
Yes, it is, David.
Oh, that is a horrible sound.
Sorry.
Oh my god, I forgot how are we the only one?
No,
and that's fair, but it is so specific to Northern Ireland. It's not a Southern Ireland. It's like It's some words that she uses. It's very specific to Northern Ireland that I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
What is going on?
Is she a good actress or is she a nepo baby?
Well, that is the. Is she an Apple baby?
Would you not know who she is?
I know she was Bianca Lawson and that she was in. Oh, I can't wait to find out who she is.
So she is stepsister to Solange and Beyonce Knowles.
No.
Stepsister to Marvin Gaye. She's like related to the Gays and the Knowles and the
Gays.
The Gays.
The gays, not
I can't believe it's Beyonce's stepsister.
Yeah, that's what his stepsister. Sorry, not.
You got me looking so crazy right now. I'll have to get Rebecca Bryson to send you a record. Actually, I'll see if I can look one up while we're. I can't believe that she is
We got a
Beyonce's
nepo baby?
stepsister. But that's totally, yeah, I mean, totally not really a Nepo baby. Because she's so far removed.
This one is dirty.
Sorry, I'll put it up to the microphone. I only played a little bit. It made me pitch myself. This is Rebecca Bryson. Tell me if you can hear this.
This one is dirty. I can feel it.
Is that her? That's so good.
I had good reason to think you were.
That's not weird. Like when Americans do an Irish accent, it lands right in Jamaica.
But would be remiss. Is that the right use of that word? We would be remiss to start the episode without talking about the big news that is sweeping the planet.
Oh yeah, Kendrick absolutely ruined Drake at Super Bowl.
Yes. And also, I can't believe that a diss track won 5 Grammys.
It's a great track though, to be fair.
Yeah, and everyone shouting A minor at the Super Bowl was just so good.
The bomb was the bomb. It was anyway. But no, that isn't the news you're talking about though. Is it something else by any chance?
The news we're talking about, which is going to be old news now. There's probably will be more news. The episode will probably be on TV already. Sarah Michelle Gellar is returning to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I've heard the fans and they've been asking, and I've always said I wouldn't do it until there one day was an idea that I thought, oh, we could actually do this. Like that's the way to do it.
But how nice will it be to like watch, knowing that we're going through the original series, and then when we get to the end of it, you're like, oh no, you've just inadvertently had to sign up for another season.
It'd be very interesting to see where we are in the world whenever that is released.
So it's the career fair at Sunnydale High, and the gang are taking a vocational aptitude test, which we never did those at school, but I would have loved to have done them.
Yeah, wait, that's definitely something I would have wanted to do, so someone could tell me what I should do. Was mine like me trying to figure it out.
Mine is just unemployed.
Seamstress.
Seamstress, yeah. What would yours probably would have been? What would yours have been?
I bet it would have been like
Broadway star or something.
Driver. What I'm doing now.
Dock worker. You definitely think you're more masculine than what you are. Faggot.
Best visual effects.
Willow's excited to do it. Xander's cynical, and Buffy's all dressed in pink. Buffy is sulking. This is a theme that kind of runs through this episode. Buffy is in such a bad mood for the majority of this episode. Yeah.
Didn't really notice.
Maybe you were in a bad mood when you were watching it.
I might have been agreeing with her, yeah.
But Buffy's sulking because she's like, no matter what she does, she's going to be the Slayer anyway. Because she does get a wee bit bitchy. Not bitchy, but what's the word? Crabby with Willow.
Do the words sealed in fate ring any bells for you, Will? Why go there?
Right, calm down.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She didn't apologize, though, didn't she?
Yeah.
Shoot away.
Sorry for being a mad bitch. It's funny because Xander says to her about her raging bitch attitude. He's like,
you know, with that kind of attitude, you could have had a bright future as an employee at the DMV.
It's so funny how many Americans like hate the DMV. It must just be a horrible place to go to or to. I just can't imagine.
Let us know, Americans.
Yeah.
Drop us a little comment here. Tell us what this DMV. Anytime I ever watch a TV show that refers to DMV, they always turn it into hell.
This is hell.
Hello, so this is Future Tony here. So we decided to ask some of our friends what exactly the DMV was, and here are some of their incredible responses.
Hey Tony, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. I hate the DMV like everybody else, the Department of Motor Vehicles, because they are the meanest government workers. I don't know, so government workers basically can't get fired, and they know that. And so they are like, I mean, sure, it's hell for them, but I don't know. They're like the meanest. Everybody, like, nobody smiles that's working there. There could be like 20 people behind a desk working and one person there, but they won't look at you and not help you. It's literally like, I think people would rather have a root canal than go to the DMV in the US. I'm sure probably of something like that in Ireland. I imagine if people go to get benefits or like dealing with that kind of stuff, it's just that kind of hell. But these people, they literally, it's like they let's hire every single person that hates people to interact with people. I would say that's probably the number one reason why people really hate the DMV. And it takes forever. And it's just, I don't know. It's just a horrible, it is one of the 7 gateways to hell, I'm pretty sure. That's a super funny question.
So imagine you need to renew your license, which means you need to go into the DMV because they need to take a new photo of you, and you need to actually bring in the physical copies of the paperwork of all the official documents. So you look online, you make sure you have all the documents that they need. You go in on a Saturday morning because you can't go in on a weekday because you have to work and you can't get time off. But of course, the DMV is packed because everybody else is also there on a Saturday morning. So you cannot make an appointment. You draw a little number, you sit down, and you wait, sometimes 3, 4, who knows how long. It's an all-day process. You sit there, it's hot and stuffy because sometimes the air conditioning is out while everybody else gets called in front of you and no one wants to be there and they're miserable. You finally get up, you get your number called a couple hours later and they say, oh, surprise, surprise, you have missed some documents, even though you double-checked and triple-checked the website and you got all of the documentation they said you need to. There's always something missing that they did not list. So you have to go home. They do not save your spot. You come back either that day or another day that you have off. You have to wait in line all over again. Then when you finally get to go back up, hours or days later, they take your photo and they do not let you look at the photo and they take it as fast as possible. And sometimes they don't even let you know that they're taking the photo and it's the worst lighting ever. And when you finally get your picture in the mail, sometimes days or weeks later, it is the worst picture you have ever seen and it goes on your license for the next 4 years. And that's what everyone sees when they ask for your identification.
All right, so DMV fucking sucks for so many reasons. The people that work there hate their jobs. It's a very terrible energy and vibe when you go to a DMV. Did I mention the long waits and just the terrible people that are there working and most of the people that are there waiting to do whatever they need to do? It's annoying.
Hello. Oh my gosh, that is such a great question. The DMV is a nightmare because it is a government agency, I believe, but you go there and none of the employees seem to care. In Zootopia, they had the sloth represent the DMV worker because you are there for hours. Even if you have an appointment, you walk into a DMV with an appointment at 10 a.m. and they will maybe see you by noon. It's worse than a doctor's office in the United States because the doctors, at least, you're there for a reason, you need help. This is like you need to get your driver's license redone. It doesn't even matter. It's going to take you a solid 7 hours of your day. What should take 30 minutes is guaranteed going to take you 7 hours. So I remember last time I was at the DMV, I was getting my license renewed and it should, again, take very little time. And there was a sign at the door that said, we're not taking walk-ins, appointments only. But people kept walking in and people were just screaming. People were just trying to be you're going to ask them for help. They're not even helping the people with appointments. It was just a mess. The whole, we're in a tough time right now in our country, but hope that helps. Bye.
It reminds me of the brew.
Yeah, the brew, or trying to get any public sector money in any way.
Actually, it really is probably akin to my experience at fucking Universal Credit, where they're just just get a job. And when they're give up the dream, give up the dream, just get a job. Okay. Drusilla's doing tarot cards and there's a vampire trying to translate the Dulac manuscript, which is the book that was stolen a couple of episodes ago from Giles's library. Drusilla's having a pure mentee B, but they decipher in the cards that they'll be able to find the key to the manuscript in a tomb/mausoleum.
I had something I was going to say there.
Drusilla having a mentee B.
Yeah, I think them, she...
Flames on the side of my face.
I just don't like her character at all. It does. She's annoying as fuck, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, darling. And it's like, oh my god, could you just try? It's all very yeah, it just feels yeah, that's like a kind of. I just am like, although at the very end of the two-parter,
yep,
I'm like very cool, but I just is like, you pissed me off. Now you were just so. It's that accent and that like, I don't know, the patheticness of it or something. I felt like like whenever you see characters who are sick, they're not always pathetic. They're usually like.
Well, I guess we'll see if that changes in the next batch of episodes as she becomes stronger. We cut to Buffy patrolling, and it's an odd lingering shot of her feet and her boots going through the grass. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was just something I thought was
a few weird shots in this episode.
And Buffy catches the vamps stealing something from the mausoleum, and I love that she like has a wee look in and sees what's going on, and then just like takes a wee step back out, and then when the guy comes out, she's like,
Does rest in peace have no sanctity to you people?
Buffy gets attacked by a vampire and stakes him, easy peasy. And I love that now we're getting into this, like, a vampire attacks Buffy and she slays it, and it's not like the biggest deal in the world, which I love.
But she's gotten better and stronger.
We cut to Angel in Buffy's room, and he's holding Mr. Gordo, and Buffy drops her bag in, and Angel's like,
You scared me.
Oh, you scared me? Like, why is he acting so gay? Like,
I thought they had super hearing, and they could smell.
Yeah, and also
humans.
he's holding a wee bit. He's acting a bit gay. Say that, but he is acting like an absolute fruit. One thing I did notice about Buffy's room is that she has a poster of New York under her window.
Right, that really confused me because I was like, is that supposed to be a really shit, like, you know, like sometimes when there's something staged in a stage, like a staging, they put like a picture of a skyline.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for a second when she stepped in the window that was the skyline, and I was like, but that's not LA. I'm so confused. Why is that so shit?
Then on the other side of her room, there's another picture of New York,
like
up on the wall
above Angel behind his head.
Yeah. I just thought that was a strange thing. And guess what? It's time for this week's episode of
Buffy's mom.
So Buffy says there's no need for them to whisper because Joyce is in LA. Surprise, surprise. Okay. And Angel's like, well, then why did you come through the window? Which I thought was kind of funny. She's like, oh, habit. And Buffy's kind of cranky to Angel.
There's a surprise. Angel comes with bad news.
Yeah, she's a bit pissy.
Yeah, she is when she's like, oh, Angel comes with bad news again. I'd be like, do you know what? You're dropped.
Yeah, you're dumped.
No many girls I could go with.
None whatsoever.
I like the female gaze in this episode.
Female
gaze.
You didn't say gaze.
I said gaze or something. Female gaze.
Gaze?
I like the female gaze.
Gaze.
Female gaze. Gaze.
Gaze.
I do love the female gaze in this episode actually because we do get a lot of homoerotic moments. Or just
but ironically, you hate the female gaze.
No, I love female gaze.
You do hate lesbians?
No, I love lesbians if they're pretty.
No, you see, you know there's no such thing. Right? No, right?
That is good in.
No.
We get the name of this episode in this next quote when Buffy's like, it's a game of what's my line, only I don't get to play. So it is. And I love that Buffy says to Angel, you're the one freaky thing in my freaky world that makes sense. I'm like, oh, there's a lovely compliment to give your boyfriend.
I know. She is just pissy, isn't she? Because she's being forced into this is the sort of subtext, isn't it? She's being forced into career. She's got no choice about, and she's just pissy at everybody. I kind of like it.
I do too. I was annoyed when I first started watching it until later when when Giles says you're being immature, and she's like, I'm 16, I've yet to mature. So I love that Angel's like, oh, I wish that we could be like normal kids or whatever. And there she has this great line where she says like, well, maybe we can just be a regular kid in her cribble rubbing creature of the night boyfriend.
That made me laugh.
And it's funny,
Made me laugh.
Angel laughs at that as well. So I thought it was quite cute. And I do love this. We're into their kind of relationship now.
Same.
Angel sees this picture of Buffy as a kid and he kind of picks it up or whatever. And Buffy tells him about her Dorothy Hamill phase. Did you know who Dorothy Hamill was? She was an Olympic winning ice skater in 1976.
See, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have been as surprised later on when she randomly shows up with the pair of skates on. So that's fair. That makes sense.
Angel suggests they go ice skating tomorrow. At the school, Cordelia's checking the job board. I guess all the results of like their things have come through. And
I know, it's not mad that they would put that up on a board and not in a wee letter.
For everyone to see.
Yes.
Cordelia gets personal shopper or motivational speaker. Cordelia laughs at what Xander's is, and Xander gets prison guard. And when Buffy and Willow are kind of making fun of him for it, and Xander's like, well, you need to go to the booth for law enforcement professionals. So basically the police.
That's Buffy's?
Yeah, Buffy's is the police. And
Yeah.
and Xander says Willow wasn't on the list. But I love when Xander is talking about the police.
As in polyester, donuts, and brutality.
But donuts?
That to me is written, it feels written by a woman who understands like injustice.
Yeah. And also it's referenced to, it's late night. It's not that far after OJ and it's not that far after the LA riots. It's about 4
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean? It's like, it's still
I
very
didn't know.
much.
I didn't know while I lived in LA. I lived where the LA riots happened.
No.
That's where I lived in LA. Was
Oh,
like
class.
Lakeview Terrace. Not that that's like claim to fame, but I didn't realize until after I lived there when I was looking at stuff. What do you call the guy that was Rodney King?
Rodney King.
Rodney King.
Was he
Oh
beaten
my
to death?
god, my ex was called Martin King. Oh
Don't
my
dox
god.
him.
Oh my god, we're destined to be together. I'm gonna see if Martin wants to get back
And
together.
you were talking about wanting dreams like Martin Luther King.
Oh my god. See, this is the kind of thing to see if I was still on meth, that I would be like, the universe has said this is totally right.
I'm going to get back with Martin.
Yes. Buffy says something here that I have adopted. Sorry, I meant to say.
Adapted.
That I've adopted in my everyday life. You know, when people say like, oh, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But Buffy says here, like kind of jokingly, oh, I'll jump off that bridge when I come to it.
Oh, I like that.
And that's
I heard
something
that.
I always kind of like, I always say that as like a figure of speech. And I didn't realize that it was from this episode.
Look at you. Look at you. Talking about suicide all the time. Not great. No, we're joking.
I like when you accidentally mix metaphors. Karen and I used to talk about this a lot. You know, like don't punch a gift horse in the face.
Yeah.
You lead a gift horse to water, but you can't punch it in the face. So Buffy goes off to the library. Giles is indexing the Watcher's diaries, and we've just got all of these like stacks of books on his desk. And Buffy's telling him that the vamps stole something, and then she says something about the whole 9 yards. And she goes off on one because she's like,
What does that mean anyway? Whole 9 yards. 9 yards of what? Now it's gonna bug me all day.
and this is the thing: there is no literary consensus on what the whole 9 yards means.
No way.
Just if that's what you were looking up.
I am.
But no, there's no consensus, which I love. We get a wee Simpsons reference here when Buffy's like,
Have a cow, Giles.
Even as a kid, I loved Bart Simpson and The Simpsons when I was like a teenager or like as a child. And I dressed up with him one time. And I never got go have a cow, man. Oh, go have a cow as in go give birth to one.
go have a
Not go eat
cow.
one. As in like go have yourself a wee drink of water.
Well, I was like, what are you, my GP?
But you do need to have some water.
This is my GP's solution to everything.
That's right. You're here to talk about your ear infection, and they're like, "Have you thought about losing weight?" It's like, "This is going to clear up my ear infection." You can't.
Oh, your arm's cut off and bleeding. It's like, just jump up on the scale there.
Yeah, yeah. It's so true. Yeah, that exact tone that you used as well of like, I'm not listening to a single word you said until you get up on that scale. Do you want to jump up on the scale there for us? here, anyone that's listening to us is a potential doctor, and you've got a fatty like us coming in. Here, tell you what, we know that we're fat.
Till you're fat enough to kill.
Giles scolds Buffy for not being thorough enough, and she says, well, why don't you just go find someone else? Oh, I don't have to be the Slayer. I could be dead. And Buffy's just raging. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're raging. Spike and Drusilla have this like fancy cross thing that they stole from the mausoleum on a velvet pillow, and Spike says that she'll be well again soon. But they just need to keep Buffy out of the way. So in order to do that, they're going to bring in the order of Taraka.
Order of Phoenix.
They bring in the Order of the Phoenix. Jenny Weasley's coming in. She's like, Expelliarmus. The Order of Taraka.
Oh, it's the same accent. All the same English women have the same accent.
Expelliarmus. The Order of Taraka. Spike suggests bringing in the Order of Taraka, which are a group of bounty hunters, and Drusilla sees in her tarot cards that 3 of them are coming to town. And I do like that there's a bit of a misdirect through the episode.
Yes, about the 3.
Yeah, oh my God. Yes.
Scene.
You cover that label.
Oh, I did.
Quacka quacka. I hate those lids.
Well, I love them.
You would. Because you're the type of person who takes a lid off a bottle and spins across the room. You can just tell you're the type of person that likes those lids, because I bet you normally take them off and they fall on the floor and you like can't be fucked like finding it or whatever.
Yeah, I lose it and then I have to drink it all. Yeah, that's exactly why I love it, because I lose the lid.
You're such a dumb
set it
bitch.
down mindlessly and then it's such a what?
You're just a dumb bitch.
Look,
I'm just imagining you as a monster trying to like open the door. Oh. So Willow and Xander are in the hall and they distract Snyder from asking where Buffy is really. And I love that Snyder is just like tells Xander not to speak. He's like, it's just going to be an airborne toxic event. And I love that Xander says to him like,
I'm glad you feel comfortable enough to be so honest with me. And I can only hope that one day I'm in the position to be that honest with you.
Oh, that's very good.
He's just written so well in this episode.
Yeah, he's written very well. But I think he's written so well because he's now not, his attention is not Buffy. And I think it was his attention on Buffy that was annoying, because it just is so, but to everyone else it's actually quite, it's just like, I kind of want to be like, mate, are you okay? There's some serious shit happening right now and you just keep making jokes. And that's me saying that. And I'm just like, could you maybe just sit down a second and pay attention?
Well, that kind of comes up in this episode, like we'll see later. A man approaches Willow and says, come with us, and he takes her behind a black curtain. She's offered a canapé, and I just love that word, canapé. Canapé. Yeah, just pop your canapé. Yeah, just pop your wee card in there, love.
Go ahead, we love stick a wee card in there. Pop your digits in. A canapé, I don't know. I think it might be like
canapé. No, it's free. Oh, please, let's try and do that in real life at a party sometime.
Yeah, no problem. Right, so this is mental to me. So they just put a black curtain and they've got a butler and like the CIA fucking in this other room.
It's not the CIA.
I know, but it feels like the CIA. Men in black kind of vibes.
Yeah, so it's basically some big software company that Willow's been selected to meet with, and they're like, only one other Sunnydale student met the criteria, and it's Oz.
Could you hear my cheer from Scotland whenever Seth Green popped up on my screen?
Yes.
He gets it. He should have been Xander from the start. I'm glad he's not.
No, because he's good as Oz.
No, I know, but you know Oz the character. I don't. So all I'm seeing is this other kind of nerdy, kind of like sarky, dry guy, nerd. And I'm like, but he does it in such a sincere way, because Seth Green, I bet, is a really nice guy.
He really reminds me of like someone we would actually be friends with in school, because he's like does music as well, but he's really cool.
He reminded me of Ryan McCormick.
Yes. Yep.
That's who it is.
Scruffy
really
goldfish.
Scruffy goldfish, kind of cool. Definitely is and I think just cool, great hair, good voice, good speaking voice, really adult. Like could just speak to anybody. Like Ran.
It's funny because I see that he plays like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, and that was something I've been thinking about recently. Like 2 things I would love to do is like play Dungeons and Dragons or join a group.
Play it.
And do you really?
Yeah, I'm a bard.
Do you go to a group?
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to because I'm like, I love the idea of like making up the story like as you go, but also using rules and powers and things. Like, I love it.
But you're such a control freak. You
I'm-
would have to be the dungeon master.
No, I'm not.
You're not a control freak?
No, I'm not a control freak. Well, maybe
Okay.
like of this podcast, maybe that's probably. Actually, I'm not because I let you lead that horrific episode last week.
But see how you said you let me lead?
Yeah,
Still
because
controlling, still under control. You allowed me to do it. That's still a level of control freakiness.
it's not really. It's just I take ownership over it because
I'm not
I
complaining.
because I need to make sure it gets done.
No, you're getting defensive.
Because I'm not a control freak. You're making me feel
Yeah,
like
you're
one,
not a
but I'm
control
not.
freak.
But also, I would love to learn to play chess.
Okay, chess is good. I can teach you how to play chess. I love playing chess.
I'd like to play it properly, though. I don't know if you'd really play it properly. Was joking. So we cut to Buffy and Giles at the graveyard, and it's during the daytime. I love that like Giles is out of breath because obviously Buffy's walking in a huff, so she's obviously like going way faster.
Stormed off. Yeah.
And I love that she says to him like, "Get with the program." I love when people say that.
Get with the program. I'm like, what program are you talking about? Doesn't make any
Calm-
sense.
Just calm down.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Giles shouts at Buffy and says she's being immature, and she's like, "I'm a teen. I'm yet to mature." And I was like, "Okay, that just washes
man.
away all of like the annoyance I have with her for being a wee stroppy cow." And I love that she says to Giles, like, you know, you're a watcher and a librarian. That goes like hand in hand, like a chicken and another chicken, or like two chickens. She's like, so no one will bat an eye if you want to spend all your day looking at books. And that's when Giles is like, oh, well, have you ever thought about law enforcement? I don't know why Buffy's having such like a hard time like adjusting to that.
I
but
think
you,
in LA at that time, the police are like, it's
yeah,
like being the police in Belfast. Like
yeah,
in West Belfast, joining the police.
they
or
are.
something, I think
They are.
it
You
needs
see?
to- Yeah.
Are they still? No, they're
Pissneys?
they're Pissneys. That's right.
They weren't originally. Do you know what they were called originally?
The Royal Ulster.
Northern Irish Police Service. No, Northern Irish Police Service. Then the
Nips.
one. Yeah, literally. It took them months to realize that was what it took. One person, I think, in the office. They had already had some of the uniforms designed and stuff. Had to get it all redesigned. Cost money because people are fucking idiots.
So Giles tells Buffy that it's a reliquary of Dulac. It's a Dulac. Well, let me say that sentence again. So
Yeah, can you have another go?
So Giles, so when they go into the mausoleum, they see like a wee bashed in wall, and it's wee reliquary, or I can't say that word. Reliquary.
Where the relic is?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Sorry, I just got that. But I love that Dulac was part of a religious sect that was excommunicated by the Vatican. And see, because I was saying that so fast in Northern Irish, religious sect that was excommunicated by the Vatican. Giles pieces together that the book stolen from the library was also a book that was written by Dulac, and Buffy says, I guess it wasn't a taste of the Vatican cookbook. And I don't know why I found that so I've heard that so many times watching it, but for some reason I pissed myself laughing when I was watching it this
Do you
time.
actually laugh out loud?
Yeah. I laugh out loud at things all the time and cry. And Giles says the book has dark, powerful magic, obviously setting up what's going to happen in the episode.
I have a question. I'm gonna
Go
pause
for
you
it.
here, just had a
I've got an
thought.
answer. No, you're not going to
This
pause me.
is-
Stop saying that. No, do
What
stop.
happens if I don't?
In the name of love.
Perfect.
So we cut to the bus station and we see Billy Ray Cyrus get off the bus.
The most. Imagine him coming off a bus. You would be like, you just need to be a police officer at a bus station, just looking for that guy.
We see a traveling salesman walk past Buffy's house to her neighbor's house, and he introduces himself as Norman Pfister. Pfister? I barely know her. He's a cosmetic salesman, and he's got free samples. The door closes, and we hear this scream that cuts to an airplane sound.
Yes.
There's a name for that, but I can't remember what it is. But I loved that. I thought it was good, but really fucking annoying because I was watching it quite loud. And on this plane, we see a beautiful Caribbean woman sneak out of the cargo. No, I was saying Caribbean
Kicks the
because
fuck out of the guy who's just trying to get the bags out.
yeah, and I'm
Did you
like,
say
this,
Caribbean or
this
Caribbean?
Caribbean. Should it be Caribbean?
I don't know.
So we cut to the library, and Willow was wondering whether the right verbiage is slayed or slew. which I thought was quite funny. And Giles says
Sloan.
both are correct.
Oh.
So we cut to the ice rink, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's obviously signed up for dancing on ice. And do you know that all of those ice skating scenes were really Sarah Michelle Gellar?
I had a feeling because
she obviously loved
Here we
doing it
go.
because she kept like doing jumps and everything.
But pure misogyny right here. Same bum the whole time. It's the same
Yeah.
bum the whole time. That's why I was like, oh, that's all Sarah Michelle Gellar because it's the same bum the whole time. Because she changes into her other person. They're a different shape.
A build,
person,
yeah.
different build of a person. Because they're obviously like stronger.
It's like a wee stocky bulldog.
Yeah, or like they usually are like quite slim women, but they have more muscle than because Sarah Michelle Gellar is a waif of a thing. Like, and she's at that time when skinny was beautiful, so it was like they're all tiny. Which is funny because Cordelia is probably, I imagine this doesn't matter, but is probably like a more curvy person, but is still stick thin. But she's naturally like a more like boobs and bum kind of woman, but like still looks fucking tiny. It must have been horrible to be that age in the 90s and a fucking Hollywood star. Just you must have been hungry all the fucking time. Must have been starving.
We see that Billy Ray Cyrus is watching Buffy ice skate, and when she has her wee dismount, she falls and she's like hee hee, and she gets attacked by this guy who's choking the absolute fuck out of her.
What an arm. Could you freeze frame that bit? His arm is it looks like someone sculpted it out of marble.
Yeah,
what an
probably
arm.
was
Bet he's a wrestler.
gorgeous.
Bet the guy who acted is probably a big wrestler.
He probably is a wrestler. I even thought he was quite hot with a scar over one of his eyes. So Angel shows up already in vampire face, and I love that the way Buffy kills this guy is that she fly kicks him and slits his throat with a skate. It was a wee bit
dark.
I love this. Angel recognizes the ring and he's like, do you know what this means? And Buffy says, what, that I just killed the Super Bowl champ.
That was funny. That was
Which was
funny
good.
because it was literally the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Angel tells Buffy to go home and wait. He doesn't like Buffy seeing him or touching him like this.
This is a really lovely, poignant scene. I actually was like, you had me at cut
Bumpy?
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I could see his makeup and stuff, but it doesn't bother me. Like
Yeah,
from
but
the
you wouldn't
perspective of the show that
you
writes
wouldn't
it.
have in the original, you know.
Oh, because it's CRT.
Yeah. So she rubs his bumpies and she's clearly got a wee bumpy kink. And I was just curious as to what kissing was like with those sharp teeth.
I was waiting on like he accidentally bit her or something, but
Yeah, and she'd be like, but this is actually a wee bit of a callback to the episode Angel in season 1 with Darla, and Darla actually asks
right.
Angel, she says, do you believe she'll ever be able to kiss your real face?
Oh,
And,
right, okay.
And obviously Buffy is mega into it, as we'll find out later in the series. She's mega into it.
It's ribbed for her pleasure.
Yeah. Oh my God, Angel's forehead is ribbed for her pleasure. That is brilliant. And then we see that beautiful girl from the plane watching them, being like, "We've got your luggage from EasyJet now."
You needed to stop going so close to the microphone for that first start.
I'm not even close to the microphone.
Fuck, you keep steering in
Sorry.
when you go into the voice. And two,
I'll maybe turn my microphone
he
down. a wee
hasn't
bit.
introduced us yet. We haven't heard her speak yet.
I know, but because we're
You
doing
hold
two-parter,
that in. You hold that in.
I'll
Because I
hold
know
you
I'm
in.
gonna hear. No, you hold me.
So back in the library, Giles basically tells them what we already know, that the Order of Taraka are a group of assassins. This is the thing that's kind of annoying, that I'll bring up a negative thing. I feel like now we've been told in this episode 3 times what the Order of Taraka are, and I would have preferred if like it was all more of a mystery and people didn't keep saying Order of Taraka until you get to a point like this where they get the ring and they realize that. So there just was a lot of like Taraka. Like, how many times can I say Taraka?
The Order of Taraka.
Taraka.
The Order of Taraka.
The Order of Taraka. Taraka.
The Order of Taraka.
But I do like we get a wee bit of history, and Giles says they're a group of assassins that date back to King Solomon's days. And he shouts at Xander, who keeps joking.
That's enough, Xander.
I was getting pissed off. I was like, would you fuck up?
That is totally something I feel like something I would say, or like you would like. It's a joke that is actually kind of funny, but I think the only reason Giles shouts at him is to really underpin the level of severity of this. And it is funny because of the way it's played. It is one of the only times where you do start to worry a bit. Like, oh my God, is Buffy going to be able to
Yeah,
do
I
this?
did, because it was after the way Angel was talking about it. No, you need to get in the hiding, blah 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 blah. And then whenever Giles is doing it, and when he tells us that, it did actually the show did a good job of creating the danger, essentially, because Giles was so like cut the shit, cut the funny, or like even that moment, even the show was cutting the funny there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe this is a bit serious or something. So it was good. I liked it.
It would be funny if Giles turned around to Xander and was like, "You're not funny, dickhead."
I know.
And that's
I
just
fuck up.
yeah. Giles says, "Kill as many as you like. They'll keep coming till they collect their bounty." We see Norman Pfister in the neighbor's house, and we see the dead neighbor. It was actually a wee bit kind of rotten.
Yeah.
And all of these are these worms or are they maggots?
Maggots. I think they're maggots.
I thought they were maggots too, but they keep talking about them being worms.
They're definitely maggots.
Yeah. You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy worm man.
You cheap, lousy wormy. Especially if his name's Norman, and he's like, "What am I going to do?"
Pfister.
Right.
So
the podcast.
It was making me. What was I trying? I was thinking of something. I forgot what I was thinking. Oh yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not. Whatever. So oh yeah. So you okay?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
It was the way you were stressed out and your hand was there. I was trying to recreate, that like the creation poster.
Adam and God. Adam and Steve.
So Buffy is wandering the corridor in school, and I like the kind of paranoia vibes they're giving off here with like the sound design. But I also love the guy with the comb. It's meant to be like
that was the guy. Like, who just takes out a comb and eye contact someone? Does nothing to his hair anyway. His hair's not that sort of haircut, but we comb back like that.
He's
so
bald.
Yeah.
And Oz walks past Buffy and she grabs him and she's like, "Try it."
Try what?
And he's like, "I'm not sure what I meant to try."
But could you imagine how Xander would have said that?
He'd be like, "Yeah, fuck, I'll try that."
That's what I mean. That's why he would have been like. He genuinely is like, well, "What do you need me to try?" He's brilliant. I know I'm gonna love him. I think I'm gonna love him.
You will. He's very stoic, which is great as well. So Buffy is walking the streets alone, doing absolutely nothing to look after herself or to not be. She's just literally dandering, like fuck.
Limping.
Do you know I've never noticed it until this watch ever?
No way.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of you.
Yeah, I always limp.
When we cut back to the library, we see Willow telling Giles that she's never seen Buffy like that, and Xander says she hasn't been home either. And Giles says, "Perhaps my words of warning were too alarming." And Xander's like, "You think?" It's quite good. We see that Buffy goes to Angel's and she is limping. He's not there. But he has 2 ashtrays sitting on his table, which I just thought was interesting. And I have the same ashtray as him, and I meant to get it up there, but I meant to get it's like a nice big stone onyx ashtray.
Wow.
Very, very nice. So it is. Oh my God. And I just wrote here, just notice Buffy's wee limp.
Yeah, the limp occurs in that scene before.
She's like dragging her. It's like she's dragging her leg to the bed.
No, it's actually really subtle. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, is she limping? You don't really see Buffy hurt very often, and then she's limping, and then it's like,
And it wasn't even from anything good. It was from falling when she ice skated.
fuck it, and I feel like she's sort of just, and I recognize that because whenever I feel low, I just get quiet, distant, alone, and then I just want to go into bed. I want to go into a vampire's bed and just go to sleep forever. So it's
Yeah.
like, it really, and especially Angels.
But let me ask you a question. Do you do that with your shoes on?
Yeah. No, I don't. Not with boots. Not with boots. But
not
we
with
car
boots.
trainers, yeah.
Not after trekking around the fucking
But
heroin-ridden needle city of Sunnydale.
But I love this whole scene. I love this whole bit of her. I got it. I feel like I really got what she was doing. Like she was really
exactly.
depressed, like feeling depression, and like she just needed to go to sleep.
That also I felt like kind of showed through even in like the wardrobe choices and like the big. She's like dressed overly comfy, like a big kind of shirt, and like she's not wearing anything like mega tight. She's all very But yes, unforgivable going to bed with your boots on in someone else's house. So it is. But I do love the look that we get of Angel's like wee flat, and I love all of his wee things.
Stuff on the wall and like
His wee
stories.
trinkets and
his
stuff.
Trinkets. It's a good word,
Yeah.
trinket.
Love it. His tchotchkes. So we cut to a new place that we see, and it's a bar, and it's a guy called Willie. It's Willie's bar. You know me, I just love Willie's. Angel shows up looking info, and Willie says he's living straight these days. And do you know that this is the guy that I steal my iconic catchphrase from? Like, never say your friend Tony, don't come through for you in a pinch, see? Angel wants to know who sent the Order of Taraka, and he threatens Willie, and Willie confirms it was Spike that sent him. And as Angel is threatening him, he gets attacked by this beautiful girl that we've seen earlier on, and she tries to
Why
stick
do you
him
have to
in.
refer to your looks, Tony, every time? Misogynistic cunt.
She tries to stake him, and they actually have a great fight. I love this wee fight. We're getting into like an era of good fights.
Better
I was
fighting.
kind
Definitely
of
noticed
wondering
that.
what you thought about
This
this.
fight is what I noticed was it was longer shots rather than cut. I got to just see two people have a fight, even though I could clearly see the huh and the huh, but I don't care. Like I know it's stage fighting, but I just wanted to see it for longer than a cut every 5 seconds. So it was class.
Yes. She tries to stake him. They have a great fight, and she is just while she's fighting, her face is just so smoldering. I just love. She's like, I can't see myself, so I don't know what that looks like. Like I'm having a stroke. Oh yeah, and I love that she laughs at Angel and locks him in the cage. There was just something so cheeky about that I loved.
Yeah,
When-
it's disrespecting characters that we like.
Because I love that he's lying on the floor, like wiped out in the cage, being like back off, and I'll let you live or whatever. And she's like, okay, and then like locks him in the cage. And then this is where we actually get to hear her speak, and he's like, "Oh, do you think it's funny or something?" And she's like,
I think it is funny now. That girl, the one I saw you with before.
You stay away from her.
"The girl, the one I saw you with before." I don't want to do it too high.
When I get out of here, I'll do more than threaten.
Then I suggest you move quickly. Eastern exposure. The sun will be coming in a few hours. More than enough time for me to find your girlfriend. Sorry. Giles rings Xander and tells him to go check on Buffy. Now, I did think that this was just a wee bit of like plot exposition where he literally is like, well, I don't know, just get Cordelia to drive you so that it makes sense that Xander and Cordelia are like,
yeah.
Willow's sleeping on the computer and Giles wakes her up, and she's like, "Don't warn the tadpoles."
And that was so random.
And yeah, she says she's got frog fear, which you have fear of frogs is called rhinidophobia.
Did not know that.
So it is. That actually comes back later in season 2. Like that's kind of used again. That's one of the things I do love about the writing on the show is that they'll put little things like this and they'll bring it back. And I'm gonna say that's probably Marty Noxon that's doing that. I love that Willow apologizes to him for falling asleep, but Giles is like, "Don't worry, chick." Now I just love that the dynamic now that we've seen. Like Giles is like, "Don't worry, you obviously do loads," compared to when he just spoke to Xander on the phone. He's like, "Oh, I don't know, like get Cordelia to drive you."
Oh, yeah. That's
So
a
I think
good
it's
point,
quite
actually.
funny.
Yeah.
Giles realizes that the book has a ritual that would restore a weak and sick vampire back to full health. What a very specific realization that he was able to come to.
Thank you. So what's the point in the other book? That tells you exactly that here's what's in that book. What's the point in
Yeah.
doing a code when this one's like, here's the code for that book, by the way.
Exactly.
Done it.
The vampires at Spike have managed to translate the Dulac manuscript. And the key to Drusilla getting better is Angel. So we cut to Xander and Cordelia at Buffy's house, and Cordelia says, What am I, mass transportation? And Xander's like, that's just locker room talk. I wouldn't read too much into it.
This whole scene with them two was brilliant.
Because I was like, this is how to do misogyny in a funny way. Not in a funny way, but do you know what I mean? Compared to like, it doesn't feel like it's really tinted with Xander's horrible views. Like, it's basically not Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I know what you mean. No, yeah. But she wins. She never.
Well, that's it. She is so good because she doesn't bite back to a lot of the things. She does bite back, but it's usually never in response to like a certain thing. Now I do love that. This is the first reference ever that they use of the Scooby Gang, where Xander's like, "Come on, you've got to like help out if you want to be part of the Scooby Gang." And Cordelia's like, "Oh yeah, like I lie awake at night wishing you tweakos will be my best friends."
What's tweakle?
I presume it was like meant to be like a tweaker, like another slang word for like a tweaker.
Tweaker?
Like a
What's a tweaker? Like a nerd?
like me when I was on meth.
Oh,
people are-
okay.
Xander manages to get through the living room and he lets Cordelia in. Buffy's nowhere to be found, but then the door knocks and
So
it's.
how easy was it to get through that living room?
I mean, the window was probably open. It is Kwawa Famwa. A knock on the door, and who is it? Norman. So big Normzo comes to the door, and Cordelia lets him in. So Angel is banging away in his cage because the sun's starting to come up. They kind of cut back and forward to this part with Angel, which I quite like.
Yeah. Why is he so tired?
I think he's meant to be the idea that he's maybe getting weaker because the sun's coming up. He's locked in a cage, and he's potentially his imminent death.
Genuinely was. I couldn't understand why he was so wrecked.
Yeah.
And then he still wrecked later on. I just didn't. I didn't know what the fight with Kendra made him so.
I think
exhausted.
it was the sun, maybe the element of the sun coming up, and maybe having to be in the dark. They don't ever talk about like, oh, vampires get weak in the sun, but maybe after the
I
fight.
didn't.
Or
I
whatever.
just generally asking because it just is like
Yeah.
That's actually one part that I didn't understand.
I
don't know
always
why
just
it was
presume
so
if
weak.
it's like if you don't get home or sleep when you're meant to and you haven't eaten, so I just presume a combination of those things.
Okay, fair.
You know.
Thank you.
So we cut to Buffy in Angel's bed, and she wakes up to an axe near her head. Oh my god! And then we get a great fight here, which I absolutely love. It's a good mixture of good fighting. We're not going to talk about how obvious it is, the stunt doubles or whatever. But I do love that in between the fight, we get some of that classic Buffy banter, and she's like, "Oh, come on, don't make me do the chick fight thing." Chick fight.
I know. Gets her, grabs the hand, pulls the hair. I thought it was quite funny.
I
Quite
loved
good.
it as well because I just love the Kendra's response because she doesn't know what a chick fight is. Chick fight.
Hang on, we need to pause. I'm a bit annoyed. Her accent is atrocious. Like,
Oh, okay.
but her accent annoys me so much that it removes me from the show. Like,
Yeah.
it's so outlandishly fucking mental that when she starts speaking, I suddenly am like, oh, this is just an actress just doing it. And it is
Yeah.
it is actually a problem for me in that episode because I was like, it's a fucking class episode. The story with Spike and the Drusilla stuff with her coming back and the stuff that happens at the end, I was like, this is all really good. And she's the one negative thing that I actually really dislike. Actually, like, I wish her like fighting scene, her look and all the stuff is class and the story of her is class. Literally just as soon as she opens her mouth, it just goes somewhere and it takes me out of the moment. And that's why I'm like, oh my God. And then whenever you'd said about the negative stuff, then I was like, I literally don't think of anything else to say about her. So it's going to be kind and I just got lost in my brain for a while there because I was just like trying to think of like, how do I say things that aren't negative then?
Will the two of you shut up?
Well, anyway, this is where this episode ends.
Who are you?
Who am I? You attacked me. Who the hell are you?
I'm Kendra, the vampire slayer.
That is the one bit that I burst out laughing at
Yeah.
because it's just
What's a vampire?
no, just because at that time that episode came out, I just have you at whatever age or like whenever you first watched that episode, just constantly saying, "I am Kendra, the vampire slayer." It was like all through school.
This was like a huge thing at the time if you were like watching on TV because obviously all we have ever heard so far is there can only be one, and then all of a sudden Kendra the Vampire Slayer, and that's where this episode ends.